Welcome back to another video. Today we've got a high elf warband that we started off. I originally planned to do this in a week, but life got in the way, so I didn't. So anyway, these are Highland minis. I 3D printed these. This is the inspiration I'm going for. So I'm going for a very classic high elf look. And as you can see here, they're printed out really nicely. The bases that I've done on them are just a bit of sand mixed with some old coffee granules that I dried out, sterilized in the oven. In this video, I'm just going to be painting the archers. I will paint these, what are they called, sword masters, at some point in the future, and I'll also do the mage at some point in the future. But at the minute, we're just going to be doing the archers. This isn't going to be a super in-depth painting guide. It's a bit of a speed paint, just to show you the process of getting them done. Okay, so here's everything on the painting table. I've primed them all with a grey primer. I'm just going to go through the colours that I'm using. These are going to be all blues and whites and things. So you can see the colours up on the screen here. When I primed them with a grey. It was like a really cheap spray primer. As long as the can's warm, heated up a bit, you should be fine even in the snow or anything. So I started off with just some marine mist. I did a couple of layers over this, over all the areas that I'm going to be painting white, and then I went over it with an ashen stone wash. I watered the wash down probably 2-to-1 with water, and I'm just going to be pushing it into the areas that I wanted to shade the white. I don't want it to be super dark. Just want it to be dark enough to shade the recesses basically against the white. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in with another layer of marine mist mixed with titanium white 50/50 over the top of where we put the shade over, just to clean everything up again. As you can see, the paint's quite thin. This is a benefit. It's going to allow us to do multiple layers of this and to push the paint into the direction that we want it to be, so we can build up highlights that way. Rather than mixing more and more white in every time we do a different highlight, we can just build up the opacity by doing multiple layers of the same paint, as long as we get the consistency right. Now you can see here, I'm pushing the paint everywhere that I want the highlight to be the brightest. As you can see as well, here I'm doing a lot of lines and dashes and little bits of texture and stuff, just to help the coverage of the white even more. And then what we'll do once we've put all these little lines in, just to soften them up a bit, make the fabric look like it's like flowing fabric, like crinkles and wrinkles in it, is we'll glaze some even thinner, an even thinner version of this paint over everything like we're doing here. Again, always pushing the paint into the direction we want the highlight. The thing with white is you just got to take your time with it, build up the layers, and it will start looking nice once you get there. We're just doing another highlight here. This is basically pure white with maybe a tiny dot of marine mist mixed into it. And again, we're just pushing the highlight into the area we want it to be. So again, it's a glaze consistency because we want to do multiple thin layers of white. And there's the white done. It will look even brighter when next to the blue once that's done. And so what we're going to do here is just base coat everything. To start off with, we're not putting any washes over this blue. We're just going to use this dark blue as the shadow color. And then we're just going to do a layer of 50/50 blue and white as the highlight. You can do a final highlight with a bit more white mixing if you want, but we're not overcomplicating it. Okay, so that's the blue and the white done. And we've gone ahead and base coated all of the other details. You don't want to watch me base coat stuff. So the hair is buff. The bows and arrows and any other wooden bits are deck tan. The skin, we've gone for sunny skin tone. And then all the leather bits, we've gone for a rhinox hide. And then what we've done is we've just put a wash over each of those different areas. And then highlighted back up those areas with that colour that we used mixed with white. So the sunny skin tone, we put a wash over of a flesh wash, and all of the other ones, I think it was sepia. And you can see I've drawn the wood texture in on the bow there. So the blonde hair is just the buff with a sepia wash, and then buff mixed with white highlighted up. Really simple. And there's only a couple more details to do, so the metal and then the gemstones. We'll go into a bit more detail with the gemstones, but the metal is just going to be base coating and then a wash on them. Because again, we want to keep this nice and simple. It's not a complicated paint scheme, but it will look good at the end, especially once they're all lined up. And I'm just showing you the metallics that I'm using here. Okay, next step after the metallics have been done, and like I say, I just painted them those colours and then gave them a quick wash over it. Doesn't matter what colour you wash them if you've got a hand. And we base coated all of the gemstones with black. And now we're going to do a mix 50-50 of black and blood red. And we are again glazing this down into the bottom corner of each gemstone. Probably need to do a couple of coats, a couple of layers of each of these steps that I go through, just to build up the colour. But we want to do it in a controlled way, because we want to keep as much contrast as possible from the very dark black to the bright highlight we're going to end up with. Next up, we're going with just pure blood red, and we're going to do the same thing. Glaze a couple of layers into that bottom corner. And we want to make sure that we're always glazing down to the same corner on every gemstone to make sure that the light is coming from the same direction on all of them. It's very important to do that, otherwise it'll look a bit weird over the whole model. But again, just take your time, do a couple of layers of this. Okay, so what we're going to do now is the second layer of pure blood red. And you'll be able to see the vibrancy pop up with this layer. Just because, like I said, you need to do a few layers to make this really sell the effect.
Right.
Okay, fine. It's a bit of an optional step. The blood red mixed with a little bit of ice yellow, 50-50, I think. So I glazed into the bottom corner just to red. A bit of a highlight line before we put the final highlight on it. And then we go in with just pure white, and we try and draw a very thin, controlled line around the bottom of the gem where we put all the highlights so far. And then we'll put a single dot in the opposite corner at the top, just to sell that shine effect of the gloss.
And then what we'll do is
and then as a final cheek step, we will go in with some gloss varnish, just to really make it shine against. I gave everything a matte varnish as well, so this will really make it stand out against all of that. And then lastly, we do the base, and we're just going to go over everything with some watered down contrast paint, like a Cygor brown I think I use, but it doesn't matter, any dark brown over the base will be fine. And then we'll follow that up with a highlight of, I think I used Talent Sand, Talent Sand. So I do a highlight of this, and then I mix a bit of highlight colour into that, either like yellow or whatever, and do another dry brush. And then you can see here with all the grass tufts on, we've got the final result. I'll put some pictures at the end as well of the unit all ranked up. But that's it done. Really quick. You can get these done probably in an evening or two without too much stress or difficulty. And they look really nice all ranked up. I think they'll look nice as an army as well once you get like maybe some bigger things in there, maybe like an eagle or something. But we'll save that for a future video. Anyway, see ya!